Alright, greetings and salutations everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. This bonus upload is actually going to be very interesting for me and you guys if everything goes as planned. Before we get into it though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, channel membership is in the description below. The merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost you a cent. Click that like button. Takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon. And folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things, they really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And yes, folks, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to tonight's final bonus before the live stream, shall we? Alright, so there was a case that happened back in April. It was actually the last day of March, the first day of April. But the publication was April 30 or March 31st, April 1st. And it happened in Brazil. And there was a small village that had been attacked. And during the attack, the people described as a dogman. What they described was a dogman. And I have a 30-second video clip of the results of that attack. Now, the news article, which what I will do is I will pin the link to the news article in the description below. All right. It no longer works. It just brings you to the main page of this news agency. And anytime I've ever tried to share this video clip, it's about a 30-second long video clip. I've tried to share it on YouTube. I've tried to share it on TikTok. I've tried to share it on Twitter/X, and I've tried to share it on Instagram. It immediately gets taken down. So the news article disappeared. Thank God I printed it out. And the video that was attached to it disappeared. Thank God I saved and recorded it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck it in between, in the middle of this video. And if by chance it does disappear, hopefully it won't, because it's going to be just right in the middle, I will know that this is a banned video clip. Also, it's very strange that the news article link doesn't work anymore. It just brings you, like I said, to the agency, the news agency's main page. But that is going to be a pinned comment. So it will be the first comment you see in the comment section when you go into the comments. I know some people had said, well, you've pinned comments before, but I can't find them. That's because you're not scrolling up and looking. But it's going to be there. And it will be lit up. Like, it will bring you. And it's so friggin' weird. And it'll actually, in the pinned comment, it tells you what the article's about. And then it's gone. Just like the video clip. I cannot find it anywhere online anymore. It's gone. It's just completely vanished. And like the government wanted it off the internet, wanted to hide it. When I did do a Google Translate to the people, what they were saying, it was here, it was here, it was huge. Just a bunch of random kind of yelling out in this video. So hopefully it's gonna stay in this video. I really do hope so. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, so I stumbled across this, and it probably is one of the most graphic videos I've seen in a very long time. It is not on YouTube. YouTube would not let me or allow me to put it up, and it's nowhere on YouTube. The link to this video clip will be in the description below. Also, I will pin it in a comment. A pinned comment is the very first comment that you guys will see, and it will be from me with a link to the video clip. It's from a webpage called USA Crime. And before I describe the video clip, I will share the article with you guys. And I then will share why I believe this may possibly tie into what occurred in Texas about a month and a half ago. So, a couple was attacked by an unknown animal. Unofficial sources claim this took place in Brazil, although this has yet to be confirmed. Translated from Portuguese via Google Translate. I think it is from Brazil because Brazil would be one of the few South American countries that speak Portuguese. According to reports from survivors who pretended to be dead at the time, they saw that it was a large creature, all black, in the format of a large giant dog that stood on its feet, with huge claws and teeth and large fangs. The victims came from a village in which they belonged to a tribe. About 20 to 30 people were attacked, and 7 were killed and several wounded. Some managed to escape. Several reports this animal is taller than a man, is very strong and fast. He must be 2 meters tall. So reports locals in the region who are frightened to stay home alone. In fact, the fact is already the 4th time in less than 1 month without further information. This has occurred 4 times in 1 month. This small village was being attacked. The video clip it starts out with a young woman, and please follow the link over. I cannot put it on the channel, and you will see why. Viewer discretion be advised. It is quite graphic. Starts off with a young woman. At first I thought she was dead and they were just lifting her head, but she's in shock, clearly. And she has large lacerations on her head, on her chest, what looks to be like a puncture wound on the side here. Then it goes over to the young man, and he has a couple of lacerations on the side of his neck, deep ones, like they're filleted right open. He turns around, and there is a slash mark across his back. They are speaking Portuguese in the video. It's quite an incredible. It's quite incredible. It's an incredible documented case of a Dogman attack. I mean, what else could it be? The villagers are clearly saying, according to reports from the survivors who pretended to play dead. So if they hadn't played dead, good thinking, guys, they probably would be. The creature was all black in the format of a large giant dog that stood on its feet with huge claws and teeth, large fangs, taller than a man. What does that sound like? It doesn't sound like anything other than a Dogman. Now, as many of you know, Dark Waters and I are very good friends. James has a theory that they migrate. I have a similar theory, but I think they just go where the food source is. And I do believe they are nomadic. I don't think they follow a specific migration path. Maybe they do. I'm not debating that. It's a valid theory that he came up with, and I appreciate his theory quite a bit. But this case can actually lay credence to both of our theories, to where I think they're nomadic, right? And he thinks they migrate. So, just recently in Texas, we heard how these Border Patrol agents stumbled across a attack that was so graphic, and then 2 of the Border Patrol agents are now dead because one of them had shot this Dogman. I think that possibly, very possibly, they are coming back up into the States, and they are laying carnage as they come in. Or this may just be a local small pack of dogmen. I don't personally believe they are solitary creatures. I just don't buy it. It seems like to me that they travel 1, 2, 3, 4. If they are cut off from their friends or whatever you want to call them, I think they travel with coyote packs, which further lays concrete to the not being a solitary creature. Once again, guys, this is a news documented case of a Dogman attack, and why it hasn't met our national news is because it's a small poor village in Brazil somewhere. And I mean, we see it here in America when people are attacked by these creatures in Virginia. Who cares? Just let it go. You know, like, so why would they care any more than here? You know what I mean? But guys, once again, the video is in the description below, and it will be a pinned comment. Please use discretion. Please do not watch if you have young children around, because it is quite graphic. I don't mind the sight of blood, but certain wounds just really don't sit well with me, because I can just, I imagine the pain that person must feel. And I put it in my head, how would I be acting? This girl that the video clip saw, I literally thought she was dead. But like I said, she was in shock. The blood loss was immense. The young man is, may God watch over this small village, because obviously if this is the 4th time in 1 month, there is something going on. I do believe that I covered this case a few years back, but I'm not sure. A subscriber just brought it to my attention. It does sound familiar, the road, but neither here nor there. Sullivan County Sheriff's Office is still looking for a missing man 2 years later, March 27th, 2023. The last time anyone saw Ralph Nelson was almost 2 years ago. He left home on foot in Blountville and was never seen again. The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office are still looking for him. The SCSO sent out a press release Monday asking for the public's help. In the almost 2-year-old case, family members have called the Sheriff's Office on April 19th, 2021 to report Nelson missing. They told detectives that the last time anyone had contact with him was April 4th, 2021. It was reported that he left home on Patterson Hill Road in Blountville, or Blountville. Investigators are still looking for anyone that may have had contact with Nelson around that time he was last seen. If anyone else has spoken with him since he was reported missing, the sheriff's office encourages them to come forth with any information that would be helpful for the investigation. Nelson, 53, white male, 5'11", 150. Any information should contact SO Criminal Investigations Division at 423-279-7506. I did do this case, actually, because I remember looking at the map on this. But this subscriber apparently lives in this region. And there's a place that is a perfect hiding ground for Dogman. Caves, caverns. That's another thing I want to tie in after we're done with this and talk about that Brazilian case in a second again. So subscriber goes and says, "Hey Jeff, he is said to be missing for 2 years now. Last seen leaving his residence on Patterson Hill Road on April 4th, 2021. Patterson Road is slightly less than a mile end to end. On the east end is an old cemetery. We know who has the reputation for hanging out there, and on the west end is a place called the Appalachian Caverns. www.appacaverns.com. You can see the caverns for yourself. You could not give me enough money to go down into that place now that I know this. What manner of horrific things may be living in there? Looks like a whole south side of Patterson Road is wooded. The reports don't say if he went missing in the day or night. You think if he was hit along that road, they would have found his body. He did go missing in the daytime. He was last seen walking out of his home. And I do recall this case, and I do feel that it was possibly a Dogman attack. One other thing that ties into this, not this case with the Brazilian case, but a similarity, right, is National Geographic, or Net Geo, recently, within the last 2 years, discovered these caverns, these caves in South America. And when they went into them, they had to unseal them. First of all, they were sealed by what looked to be prehistoric human. Sealed these things up. And in these caves that had some 8 to 9 foot ceilings were claw marks going down the top, sides, everywhere. What is that tall with claws? Yeah, it could be a bear, but a bear doesn't walk bipedally that long to make continuous claw marks. Found that very interesting as well. So, let's get on to the last part of today's upload. I had a couple of experiences in the 70s. I was newly moved to what was then a fairly wooded area in Provo, Utah, on the northwestern side. My mom and I lived on a main artery of town with woods going down to the Provo River. A couple of my girlfriends from high school had spent a Saturday night at my house. The Sunday morning we walked down to the fields and apple orchards in the back of our house, which went on for several acres. We had just gone between 2 old outbuildings and were about to open the gate to go into the orchard over the irrigation creek when all 3 of us heard this extremely loud growl and howl coming from the building to our right. It didn't sound like a dog or have that wild, crazy cry of a coyote. It sounded to all three of us exactly like the howling of a wolf. We looked at each other and ran for the house. We were the only ones home. We locked the doors, pulled down the shades, and huddled in the living room trying to figure out what we had just heard. All three of us were experienced campers, and we had heard all sorts of animals on these trips, And many of the camping trips had been the three of us all together. This sounded weird, sort of extremely loud, yet muffled, like listening to a kid talking on an old string and canned phone. Tape recorders were cassette or reel-to-reel at that time. There was no way someone was hiding in that building playing a tape recorder. There was no electricity in any of those buildings. They were boarded up and padlocked. There was no loose boards or holes. Something like a big dog or even a cat could get in there. You would have needed to have an amplifier or speaker cranked up to get that sort of volume. My mom found us sitting in the front room in the dark, and we were really hesitant to tell her what we had heard for obvious reasons. She sort of blew it off. We never did find out anything about it. The adults that we asked about it said it was our imagination. To this day, three of us still talk about the incident. So all three had the same imaginary sound coming from this outbuilding. That's a little strange, a little far-fetched in my eyes. The second incident happened in 1977. I was in college then and now living in a massive apartment complex in the southwest part of Provo. My mom and I had gone to bed around 9 p.m. We were both awakened at 1 a.m. to growling, whining, and that same loud, freaking howling right outside of the sliding glass door in my bedroom. We could hear something large out there. It let out this blood-curdling howl almost exactly like what my friends and I had heard years before. My mom wanted to take a look out the window. I had 2 small adult dogs at the time, and they dove under the bed. They were silent. They would not come out for hours. I told her not to look out of the window. I didn't want her to see this thing, but more to the point, I didn't want it to see us. We could hear it whining, growling, running off through the parking area, eventually fading away. We didn't sleep that entire evening. The next morning, I knocked on our neighbor's door and asked if they had heard a dog howling in our adjoining backyard, and he said no, he had slept peacefully. It's hard for me to believe that he hadn't heard it because it was so loud and weird. I told my mom what he had told me, and she couldn't believe anyone could have slept through all of that. We stayed up the next night and waited. We couldn't sleep. I had since tacked down my drapes, so whatever it was couldn't peek in. So we drank coffee in the front room in the dark and watched the clock. Right at 1 a.m, it started again. Again, the dogs froze and suddenly darted noisily under the table and shook. This time the whining, or whatever it was, almost sounded like a baby crying. There was growling, and then it let out a howl, and midway through that howl stopped suddenly, like something had startled it. We heard a rustle and some loud thumping run. Again, we heard the weird baby cry and whine fade through the grass going west. We never heard it again. I guess I'm basically sharing this just to get it off of my chest. I'm now in my mid-60s, and me and my 3 friends from high school still do talk about it. And we are missing a puzzle piece. Alright guys, I really, truly encourage you to follow the link in the description below. Or in the pinned comment, whichever you guys can find first. USA Crime is the webpage that it'll bring you to. This poor village, I mean, you have 20 to 30 people that have been attacked in a month's period of time, 4 different occasions. It's almost like it's hunting down these people. They obviously, if you watch the video, you'll see that it's not large construction surrounding. It's more or less like homes with tin roofs, you know. I really do think that this creature is stalking these people. And the young woman and man are so lucky. It's incredible. It's an incredible video. Once again, warning, use discretion. Please do not watch this video or watch my video with your kids. But when you click on that link, do not have your children in that room with you guys, because it is quite graphic. You can clearly tell that this was something large, something powerful. And like I said, I thought that poor young woman was dead. She's down here like this, and there's someone with I finally realized that they were holding her hair back so you could see the wounds. But she had wounds on her face, on her chest region. Looked like a puncture wound here. And then the guy, he had what looked to be a puncture wound. And it's crazy. And yes, they are speaking Portuguese, so I do believe it's in Brazil. Just trust me, guys. Watch the video, and you will see why I feel that, without a shadow of a doubt, it's a Dogman attack. I mean, God, you've got the people that it occurred to telling us that this thing is, according to reports, they saw a large creature, all black, in the form of a large, giant dog that stood on its feet with huge claws and teeth and large fangs. So far, it's attacked 20 to 30 people. 7 people have been killed, with several more being wounded. Taller than a man, very strong and fast. It's crazy. So that creature would be about, what, 2 meters tall if you go by the metric system? All right, so hopefully the video clip stayed up. I used 2 different thumbnail backgrounds in the video, so it's going to be in between those 2 thumbnail backgrounds. If it didn't, I know now 100% without a shadow of a doubt that this video is banned, and I just want to share it with you guys because it blows my mind. It blows my mind that the news article link it still works, but it doesn't bring you to the article. I cannot find the article online anywhere. And I can't find the video. To me, that is proof that the government wants this case hidden and forgotten about. You can still look up the Miami video, but this video you can't. And hopefully you guys can see this, because I've got to figure out a way of sharing it with you. I have not tried to put it on Patreon yet. I think that might be my last ditch effort, but I don't want to charge anybody to see a video clip. You know what I mean? So hopefully it's up. The link is going to be pinned in the description below. And just a very, very strange mystery for me. Guys, thank you for supporting the channel. Your support is what makes this channel special and what continues its growth. Stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant. Keeping an eye on our children, our pets, our family, and friends. These creatures are real. They're out there. They're dangerous. Share this information with the people you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop pushing back, never stop asking questions, and God bless you all.